Hello and welcome to Fort Wayne FC's latest match here at Bishop Darcy Stadium. Fort Wayne FC will be hosting the Dayton Dutch Lions tonight in a matchup that is pivotal for Dayton Dutch Lions. They need to claw back as many points as they can in order to have hopes in the playoffs for the USL 2. I'm your play-by-play commentator, Caleb Saylor. Joining me, as always, Luca Mata on the color commentary. Luca, how are you today?
I'm fine. It's excellent right here. It's a pleasure to have one more game with you.
So Fort Wayne FC, they want to win as many matches as they can. But they've secured a playoff spot for the first time in club history with an astounding win against Cleveland. And Luca, they've been doing that all season, these big wins, haven't they?
Yeah, like if we get the last three games, Fort Wayne FC won for 4-0. The three last games. So like the team is being very consistent. It's been very solid defensively. And they have players that have this creativity and this aggressiveness to be offensive, to create chances. And they are effective to score.
So we'll go ahead and pause here for the singing of the national anthem.
Sung by Tom Whittier, Fort Wayne City Councilman. Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the hope of the brave.
And here's your starting 11 for Fort Wayne FC. In goal tonight, Shafiq Wilson. And across the back, Rodolfo Zulia, Tiago Diaz, Genny Kanyane, Enrico Moriyasu. In the middle, Seth Antwi, Alexander Mihoff, who had a heck of a first game here for Fort Wayne FC. Sebastian Shalbad, Rodrigo Parafita, Tavio de Almeida, and up top, Heis Hovius. And his name rhymes with ice, but tell you, he is hot right now. I believe 4 or 5 goals so far this season, and we've still got plenty of games to go. He's certainly made a good introduction for Coach Avery. And let's go ahead and take a look at the Dayton Dutch Lions lineup here. In goal, Guilherme Pipolo. Across the back, Ryo Ichikawa, Luke Bishop, Connor Bailey. We've got Connor Waits, Connor Osterholt, and the former Fort Wayne FC player, Jay Klein, featuring for the Lions. And then Bonner Kinkonda, Saul Moran, Brandon Osterholt. You can probably guess, Connor and Brandon. Yeah, they're brothers. And then the former FC Cincinnati Academy player, Will Benchich. Luca, who do Fort Wayne need to watch out for tonight?
Yeah, like Fort Wayne FC have to watch Jay Klein, as you mentioned, is a guy that they know pretty well, that played here in the first season. and he was the guy that he already scored for the Dayton Dutch Lions in this season. Like, Dayton has not found the back of the net many times on this season, but Jay is definitely a guy that can do that, even though he's a defender. And like, I would pay attention on the number 19, Jesper Schindel, that scored a goal against Kingshammer in their last win against Kingshammer on June 17. So like, I would keep an eye on the number 19 to Jesper Schindel.
And we're underway here at Bishop Darcy Stadium. Dayton Dutch Lions with the ball. They're in the orange kits. Fort Wayne FC are in the blue. And it's an early throw-in for Fort Wayne. And Luca and I, we were debating this earlier, how Fort Wayne were going to line up. And it looks like Genny Kanyane is actually playing more of a number 6 role. So Fort Wayne looks like they're playing maybe a back 4 with Kanyane sitting right in front of the defenders.
Yeah, exactly. It's traditional 4-3-3 with the number 6, what people call pivot or number 6 or whatever. This guy in front of the defenders. Kanyane is going to be this guy. Mihov on the right side doing this winger position. We can see Chabot back. Like, it's good to see Chabot back on the field. He playing more as a left winger today. And the two guys up top, that's going to be Heis Hovius as a number 9, and just behind him, number 8, Seth Antwi. These guys that are combining so well in the last games and being on fire.
Well, here's the ball over top to Antwi. Antwi and Klein battling it out here. Klein doing well to just slow Antwi down. And Fort Wayne's going to get a throw in deep in the territory. And Dayton Dutch Lions look like they're lining up in a very similar formation. 4 across the back line, 3 in the middle, and 3 up top, with Kinkonda, number 27, sitting the furthest up the field. Well, good move by Mihov, but the cross in, not able to connect. But the ball's going to roll back to Fort Wayne FC. They're going to reset the play. Here's Sulia. Out to Parafita. And the Fort Wayne players, they're ready to run, but Dayton, they're keeping good track of the Fort Wayne attackers right now. Here's De Almeida. Through to Heis Hovius. But Pipolo, the goalkeeper, off his line calmly and clears it out for a throw-in.
And this is something we are going to see again and again and again in the game. Heis Hovius running in behind, breaking this last line, giving options like for the through pass. This guy has been amazing for Fort Wayne FC so far. 6 games, 8 goal involvements for him, 5 goals and 3 assists.
Here's Mihov on his left foot. He's looking to take it. He's got a defender in front of him. 3 defenders in front of him. The shot deflected off a Dayton defender, and it's going to be a corner kick here early on for Fort Wayne FC. Mihov forced to take his time on that shot. Just couldn't get the space, but nonetheless able to get a shot off in a dangerous position. Sebastian Chalbad, who Luca mentioned, had kind of been out with an injury for the past couple of matches. He's back in tonight. He's taking the corner kick. Ball delivered into the back post. And it looks like Pipolo is able to get a hand on it. It's going to be another corner for Fort Wayne. Kanyane is going to deliver this in. You can see Dayton's got the short corner covered. Ball delivered into the near post. Pibolo does well to punch it out. Moriyasu and Kinkonda battling it out there. Ball rolled out for a throw-in. Like I mentioned earlier, Fort Wayne FC, they've clinched a playoff spot, but they haven't quite clinched the top spot in the Valley Division, have they, Luca?
Not yet. If they win today, Fort Wayne FC is going to have 26 points in the league, and Toledo Villa still can get up to 26 points. So, like, if they win today, it's like almost guaranteed they are going to be the first spot, but mathematically Toledo Village to have a chance to get this first spot from Fort Wayne FC.
And unlike Dayton, who's starting to turn some positive results in their past couple of matches, Toledo hasn't been. They've lost, or at least dropped points in their last few matches, which is not something, if you're a Toledo fan, that you want to see. But if you're a Dayton fan, like I mentioned, you still mathematically can make it to the playoffs, but you've got a lot harder route than some other teams here. Here's Antwi. Antwi's in some space. He plays Mihov. Ball dragged out just a little bit. Cross delivered in. Headed away well by the Dayton defender. But the danger's still on. Here's Shalbad. Back to De Almeida.
And Caleb, to be honest with Dayton, like, they are paying the price for a terrible start of the season, right? They started with 5 losses in the first 6 games, and they just started so slow, and now they are paying this price. But to be honest with them, like, they lost many games by 1 goal difference, like tied some games that they could win maybe. So like, they are paying the price for this, but it's a team that have some quality, that have something that they can show here for us.
And when creating our lineups today, I noticed a couple of familiar names from King's Hammer that are now on the Dayton roster. So they look like they've picked up a couple of players who maybe have left other teams or have joined them late. So they've definitely added some quality in their side, Dayton has. And that was a foul against Zulia. The ball going to be delivered in by Waits. Waits, Kinkonda able to get his head on it. Here's Bencic. Ball delivered back in. De Almeida plays it out for a throw-in.
And this quality that you said that they could add later on the team, it's showing on the field. It's showing on the results that they are getting. As you mentioned, like, they did not lose in the last 2 games. They won a game and they tied another one. So like 4 of their 5 points they got in the last 2 games. So it's a team that's building the squad, that's adding quality to the squad while they are playing. But like, we can see today like a much better team than Dayton had in the first match days of the USL 2 season. And Caleb, we can see here today a game of opposites. In the one side, we have the Valley Division leader, a team that's unbeaten so far in the USL 2 season, the best attacker of the conference, and the best defense of the country, Fort Wayne FC. On the other side, Dayton is a team that, as we mentioned, lost 5 of the first 6 games and conceded 17 times only, just scored 6 goals. But if there is something that we learned with soccer and that we know about soccer, is that nobody has ever won a game beforehand. So they got to go there, they got to go out there and get the job done.
And that's a great point. And if we remember back earlier to the season, the first points that Dayton got were off of us. They tied 0-0 in Dayton earlier on, I believe June 6th, before Fort Wayne returned to Dayton just about 8-9 days later and dropped 4 on them. So, you know, anything can happen in some of these games. Coach Avery likes to talk about it. A successful season is never really a straight trajectory up. The ball leaked through to Wilson there. He's able to clear his line. But continuing with my point, Coach Avery has talked about earlier on in the season that you're going to have some ups, you're going to have some downs, you're going to drop a point here or there, but successful teams, they drop as few points as possible on the road, and that's something that Fort Wayne's been able to do, is limit the quote-unquote casualties on the road. Moriyasu leaves that ball into the tree line. It's going to be a throw-in for Dayton. Here's Waits. Waits out to Bailey. Bailey able to touch around Shalvat at least briefly. A little 1-2 back to him. Here's Bencic. I believe this is Bishop delivering the ball in, and Shafiq Wilson able to handle that comfortably. And so far, this is a good attack from Dayton. Better than some other teams have done once they've come here to Bishop Darcy Stadium this season.
Yeah, Caleb, something that I can see that they are doing really well on this beginning, on these first 10 minutes of the game, is that they are not conceding any space for Fort Wayne FC to switch the ball, to pass the ball in the midfield. Like, they allow Fort Wayne FC to switch passes in the defense, but they don't concede any space in the midfield, and this is making things harder for Fort Wayne FC.
Here's one of those switches now from Antwi to Shalbad. Shalbad able to get around the Dayton defender, but able to lose the ball as well. Fort Wayne's going to reset the play here. Out to Moriyasu. And Kinkonda clearly getting the message from the Dayton coach to press high. He's the only one applying some pressure on the Fort Wayne back line right now. Here's Sulia out to Parafita. Does well to see off Ichikawa. Kanyane and Diaz doing well to play it back and forth to just create some space. Here's Mihov. And Mihov going to provide an overlapping one for Moriyasu. Kanyane in a lot of space in the middle here. Here's Shaban. Out to Parafita. Fort Wayne knocking the ball around right now, just trying to find that space. But you mentioned earlier, Dayton defense improving, closing down those gaps. And Hovius well offside. But it was a good idea by Fort Wayne. Here's Jay Klein for Dayton. Luca, tell us a little bit more about playing with Jay Klein from what you remember. It's been a couple of years now.
Yeah, I had the opportunity to play with him in the first season that we had with Fort Wayne FC. Not the brightest season the club ever had, but like we could share some moments on the field, like good man, good player, and like definitely one of the key players for this Dayton team here.
And he is one of the oldest players, not calling him old, but he is one of the oldest players for Dayton. I believe he graduated from college in 2019, so that would roughly put him at the age of 26, 27, right in and around there. So definitely providing some experience for Dayton. And Kenyane's touch lets him down and provides Dayton with a throw-in opportunity here. Kinkunda able to get the cross in, but not able to connect with anybody. Dayton doing well to knock the ball around quickly. But the final decision there from Ichikawa is a poor one. And that's something we've yet to see from Fort Wayne yet, is knocking that ball quickly around the midfield, Luca. And we've talked about it time and again. If Fort Wayne wants to be successful, they're going to have to do that at least at some point in this match.
Yeah, we can note that the way Dayton is defending, like they're not conceding any space for the guys in the midfield, like Tavio, Antwi, Kanyane. These guys are going to have a rough match here because like they are going to have to find this space in the tight space. And this is going to be key for Fort Wayne to succeed today.
Antwi with the cross into Hovius. And a great block from Pipolo. But I'm not sure. It's either a goal kick or looks like called for offside there. Ball over top, trying to find Kinkonda. And you can definitely see there, like Luca mentioned, Dayton clogging up the middle. And good step by Zulia, the Puerto Rican international. Zulia and Ari Briscoe just coming back from Florida for, I believe, their Gold Cup qualifier matches where they did eventually lose, but the team had a good showing. The Puerto Rican team did, taking, I believe, Suriname to penalties and winning on penalties before they dropped 3-1 to Martinique. Neither Zulia nor Briscoe featured in any of those matches. They both sat the bench there, but a good experience for two young players and a team that, as Coach Avery described, is kind of having a renaissance, the Puerto Rican national team is.
Caleb, maybe a good idea to for 2 NFC in the game today is to have Sebastian Chabot or Mihov stepping in the midfield to try to create this superiority over the Dayton midfield. So, like, we know that Sebastian Chabot can play as a midfield. He played as a number 10 for 2 NFC in many games before he had the injury. So, like, when he comes in the middle, he's going to create this confusion in the players that are defending him. Am I going to follow him? Am I going to let him play? So, like, maybe it's a good idea for 2 NFC to have him join the midfield and creating this superiority just like Mihov is doing right now.
Here's Shalbat on the ball, back to Mihov. And you bring up a good point. You've got two creative players there in the middle trying to create some confusion in Shalbat and Mihov.
Yeah, because they start as swingers today, but they don't have to be stuck there. If they come in the middle, they are going to create this confusion in the fullbacks. Am I going in the middle with them and opening the space behind me so Heis Hovius can run in behind me? Or if I stay, they make 4v3, 5v3 in the middle. So maybe it's a good alternative for 420.
Here's Dayton on the attack. The shot well wide. De Almeida not able to keep track of Brandon Osterholt. And he's able to get a shot off, but it's well wide. Briscoe trying to find Patafita, who's just able to keep it in with his head. Unfortunately, not a lot of control on that. Kinkonda does well to stand up Kanyane. Here's Ichikawa. Almeida does well to step in. Kinkonda, we've said his name a lot tonight. He's battling up there for the ball, making sure the Fort Wayne defenders have as little space as possible. Shalvan. Out to Antwi. Antwi, man on his back there. His pocket's picked there by Brandon Osterholt. Connor Osterholt picks the pocket again. Here's Kinkonda. Kinkonda out to Osterholt. Osterholt and Diaz battling it out there. Diaz able to slow him down at least briefly. Out to Bailey. Bailey trying to find Kinkonda, not able to do so. Here's an opportunity now for Fort Wayne to break quickly. Shalban. Here's Antwi. I feel like that was an opportunity wasted there for Fort Wayne. They had a couple players up, and we know that they've got the speed to break some defenders. Electing to slow the play down.
Yeah, just when they left the pressure, like the first, second pass, if they could complete a long pass to Heis Hovius, maybe it would be a great chance to the counterattack, to create a counterattack. They decided to keep the ball and build up. But I am with you. I think it would be more dangerous for Fort Wayne if they played this first ball long and went to the counter-attack.
Oh, that's my phone line. That's sweet. That's what goes to my ears.
Dayton doing well to knock the ball around the middle there, but a good interception from Moriyasu. Here's Kanyane, pressure on his back. And that's a foul against Bencic. Antwi doing well to turn out of pressure and receives the ball back from Kanyane. Here's De Almeida. Out to Patafita. And doing a little bit more assessment. Dayton looks like they're playing a 4-1-4-1 with George Waite sitting in that stopper position, that number 6 position. And King Konda, the sole forward.
Yeah, you're right. And this formation is matching perfectly, just like a glove in a hand for Fort Wayne FC formation, because they have three players in the middle making a triangle, and Fort Wayne FC doing the same. So like they can keep a player on each of Fort Wayne FC in the middle, and this is being so successful for Dayton so far in this game.
Yeah, we're 21 minutes in, and neither side have really had any opportunity on goal. The lone good opportunity came from Mihov, but a shot resulted in a corner, forcing Pipolo into a save. But other than that, that's been about it for both sides, and that was very early on in the match. Here's Moriyasu. Diaz. Good ball in from Diaz to Jovius, whose first touch lets him down. And now Ken Konda is going to try to get away from Moriyasu, but he does well to just poke that ball away. And Wilson's going to come out to collect it. A good switch out to Mihov, whose first touch is poked away by Bishop. Here's Patafita. Shalbad had Bailey tight to his back there. And we talked about that tight pressure and the clogging up the space. Interrupted first. A good ball over top to Mihov. Mihov and Pipolo. Pipolo with a good save. Mihov probably had enough time to take it around the goalkeeper there. But Pipolo does well to stand his ground. But as I was saying, Luca, that tight pressure and clogging up the middle, Dayton have to do. Because one little mistake, and we've seen it, Fort Wayne can capitalize on just those little mistakes, can't they, Luca?
Yeah, for sure. And this play remembered me of the first goal scored on the last game when Thiago Diaz could find a long ball to Reis Jovius and he scored the first goal. And this is one of the solutions for Fort Wayne on this game today. Because if Dayton is playing the way they are playing, like so crowded in the middle, maybe it's good to run in behind. And a long ball can solve things for Fort Wayne.
Antwi plays it wisely out to Patafita. Patafita drives into the box. The cross in. Shalbad! And it's over the crossbar and out for a goal kick. Shalbad with plenty of space, but just not able to make it happen. And we're going to go in for a water break here at Bishop Darcy Stadium. So it's a good time to revisit the opening 25 minutes. Luca, what have you seen so far from both teams?
Yeah, both teams being very solid defensively. Dayton is being able to make a good defensive shape in a 4-1-4-1, as you mentioned, and deny every space in the middle for Fort Wayne. So I think the Fort Wayne FC is trying to find the alternatives to find spaces in the middle. But maybe, as we could see in the last two plays, a long ball or a through ball on the side is going to be the solution for Fort Wayne. And maybe one of these balls can lead to a goal, and then things get easier after you score the first goal, because you get like these morale up and you get the opponent like kind of frustrated in the first minute. So like maybe if they find this first solution and they find this first goal, things are going to get smoothly, like easier for Fort Wayne.
And we've seen that a couple of times this season. Fort Wayne a little bit slower going, being more methodical than anything. And then once they score that first goal, the floodgates just open, and then they score 2, 3. Eventually waiting till the second half to score the fourth for most of the matches that we've seen them score multiple goals in. You can see the fans there, happy to be on the jumbo screen. Shout out to the Three Rivers Regiment, the supporters group here for Fort Wayne FC. And we've got a good crowd here for a Wednesday night in a city where air quality has been really bad the past couple of days. I see a couple of fans out there wisely wearing N95 masks, making sure they take the precautions that they feel are necessary. And that was a conversation that I had with team staff this morning. They asked my meteorological opinion, Luca, whether the match should go on. And I took the advice of the Allen County Health Commissioner. We're going to pause that thought here for a second. Dayton trying to break here. But Brandon Osterholt stood up well here, and Fort Wayne's going to attack quickly. Mihove going to play a ball that's a little bit too far ahead there for Hovius. And Pipolo able to get it out. But after some consideration from the Allen County Health Commissioner, USL League officials, and then consulting my weather forecast for the smoke, we decided earlier today that this match would still go on. It's not an easy decision in a situation like this, where we definitely want to protect the fans' health, the players' health, everybody's health. But there's a lot of factors, unfortunately, that go into rescheduling matches. And fortunately, the air quality has been declining or improving throughout the match. The air quality index has been going down. So things are getting better slowly here in the Summit City, air quality-wise. Fort Wayne clearing their lines. Restarting at Pipolo. Dayton knocking the ball around here. Here's Moran. Antwi, he's on to Pipolo. And Pipolo does well to put his body on the line there just to see that ball off. Making sure Antwi can't get on the end of it. Waits. Ball into Kinkonda. Brandon Osterholt trying to put a move on Thiago Diaz there, not able to do so, and it's a throw-in for Dayton.
As you mentioned, Caleb, the goalkeeper, Guilherme Pipolo, making a good move to save Dayton here and to save Saul Fernandez that completed a bad pass for him. And as we say, he has at least to pay dinner or at least a dessert for the goalkeeper that saved his life here. Bad pass for him, but the keeper was there to clear.
So foul against Kanyane. And he's going to be shown the first yellow card of the match there. Probably everything understanding there. Certainly nothing intentional, but a rough foul nonetheless, and Kanyane's in the books. Ball delivered in by Waits. Waits trying to find the head of a Dayton player, not able to do so. The header delivered back in, still bouncing around. Here's Shalbad. And a foul against Dayton. It's going to go the way of Fort Wayne. Shalbad doing his best there to retain possession. Here's De Almeida. Back to Zulia. Dayton, they're comfortable letting Fort Wayne knock that ball around the back, but once they get into this position, they're able to close up that space tightly, just like they did there. Picking the pocket of Antwi. Here's Ichikawa. George Waits into Kinkonda, who's surrounded by Fort Wayne FC players. And a foul against Bailey on Shalbad. Referee says that's enough. And it's going to be a free kick for Fort Wayne. De Almeida over top trying to find Hovius. Hovius doing well to hold up the ball there with the defender on his back. Dayton doing well to force the ball backwards, at least briefly. Moran does well. Another ball in. Klein able to head that down to his teammate here. But Fort Wayne still on the attack. Here's Mihov. It looked like he was caught in between two minds there. The ball goes out for a goal kick. Dayton playing quickly here. Here's Kinkonda. Diaz does well to stand him up. Luca, what do Fort Wayne need to do in the final 13 minutes here of the half to try to get something going?
I would say play more aggressively. Like, I think the only player of the offensive players that is looking for the spaces, that's running, like looking to score, looking for a goal with aggressiveness in this first 30 minutes is Heis Hovius. But many times he's making the runs and the other guys are not passing, not connecting the pass to him. So like I would say that Mihov have to come more in the game, like try more the 1v1s, use his left foot to cut inside, to be aggressive. And Chabot to combine more in the middle with the number 8, Set Antwi. I think if these guys get together and play more aggressively, like increase the rhythm of the game, Fort Wayne FC has everything to score a goal and have a win here. But if they continue playing this way, it's going to be a long game for Fort Wayne.
Antwi does well to retain possession here. De Almeida's pass just a little bit long, but Fort Wayne able to connect on the end of it. Here's Shalbad. Shalbad trying to play Hovius in, but Moran does well to step in front of it to ease the danger. And Dayton coaches are making a point to their players. Play that ball long when you get the opportunity. Here's Mihov. Out to Moriyasu. Moriyasu the cross in. It's just too far ahead of Hovius. He needed to take just a second longer to wait for Hovius to get there, but it's going to go out for a throw-in for Dayton. Ichikawa's first touch lets him down. A throw-in for Fort Wayne. Good battle between Parafita and Ichikawa, and a good tackle there by Moran. In a very dangerous position. You got to be brave to go in for a tackle like that. But he comes up successful, and it's going to be a corner kick for Fort Wayne. Shalbad standing over it. Sulia. Not a lot of pace on it, but it looked good nonetheless. Probably a little more hopeful than skill, right?
Yeah, it was not easy. Let's be honest with him. Like, it was not easy. The ball was high. He tried. Like, the idea was good. The shot needed more pace, as you said.
I certainly wouldn't be able to do it. So, Fort Wayne on the attack again. Here's Moriyasu going to deliver a ball in, and it sails over for a goal kick.
I had one when I had my laptop. Tomorrow I'm gonna have it.
Sorry.
Could you tell I was on camera for 10 minutes?
Jay Klein playing that ball over top, trying to find a Dayton player. Fort Wayne comes up with it. Here's Parafita. Trying to play Shalbad over top, but Parafita and Shalbad just not on the same page there. Moriyasu fouls Brandon Osterholt at the midfield. And while I've not seen Dayton play so far this year except the 2 matches against Fort Wayne, I have to imagine this is some of their best football so far this year. I mean, they haven't let too many dangerous opportunities come from Fort Wayne, and they've created equivalent opportunities on the other end.
And as we mentioned earlier, they are getting better as the season goes. So, like, in the last 2 matches, they did not lose. They won against King's Hammer. They tied against Toledo Villa, that is the second position on the Valley Division standings. So, like, it's a team that's slowly growing on while the season goes. So, like, it's not a surprise for us to see they play on this level today.
So here's Ichikawa. Antwi does well to slow him down. Waits, forced to play back to Pipolo. Here's Moran. You might recognize him as Saul Fernandez Moran. I've chosen the third name to call him by. Moran lumps that out of bounds for a throw-in for Fort Wayne. Dayton doing well to retain possession here. Here's Moran again. Out to Bailey. Fort Wayne closing down the passing lanes well. And here's Klein. Hovius doing well to create some pressure there to force Klein out for a throw-in for Fort Wayne. Diaz over the top, trying to find Moriyasu. He's able to get on the end of it. The referee on the sideline there. Not sure what he called. Either a offside call, which he didn't look at from here, or perhaps a handball. And in the final minutes of this first half, Fort Wayne looks like they're just getting a little bit sloppy in their play. Obviously, kind of a warm day. Air quality's not the greatest, so harder to concentrate than normal. But Fort Wayne not as crisp as they usually are. And while I wouldn't call them the worst of the two teams here, it's definitely been a more even match than some of the other teams that we've faced so far this year. Good job by Kanyane. The pass not able to connect with Hovius. Goes out for a throw-in. And Luca, do you think the performance from either team here warrants any substitutes in the second half?
I mean, I don't think we're going to have substitutions like in the halftime, but for the second half, I think Coach Avery must think about some players to play on the wide areas. Maybe Sean Karani come in the field, maybe put somebody on the wing that actually can attack the space and bring one of these wide players to the middle to play where they are more comfortable playing, because like I see that Fort Wayne FC has a lot of potential on this game to attack on the wide areas. Here they come.
Ichikawa able to get on the end of it. Here's Kinkonda. Shot blocked by Diaz there. Brandon Osterholt. Couple step overs against Moriyasu. The shot sails over the crossbar for a goal kick. But to your point, do you feel as if Dayton need to make any substitutes starting the second half?
No, if I am Dayton coach, I would not change my team at all. Like, they are doing really well. Like, the formation is working. Like, the game plan is working for them. Like, maybe they are just waiting for a moment to attack Fort Wayne FC to be dangerous and score a goal, and this would be the perfect match for Dayton. So I wouldn't change anything. Maybe wait, keep playing this way until 60 minutes, 70 minutes, and if the game's still 0-0 in the second half, they can maybe change something to be more offensive. But the game plan is working perfectly for Dayton so far.
Mihov trying to weave his way past Dayton player, but Osterholt fouls him. Fort Wayne trying to play quickly, but not able to do so, giving Dayton the opportunity to get back. A foul against Ichikawa gives Fort Wayne the opportunity. Patafita trying to play quickly there with the ball. Not slowing down. Still rolling when Patafita took the kick. Connor Osterholt not happy about that, but Patafita pass just gets away from him and turns it over to Dayton, excuse me. Long ball trying to find Brandon Osterholt. But Moriyasu able to comfortably head it back to Shafiq Wilson. Fort Wayne's going to restart play with Sulia. Gijshovius coming deep to receive that ball, not able to retain possession. Here's Brandon Osterholt. And a foul against Fort Wayne, giving Dayton an opportunity in a dangerous position in the dying minutes here of the first half at Bishop Darcy Stadium. And George Waits is the one standing over this. And we've got 2 minutes of added time here in the first half. It looks like Dayton's going to try something here off the training pitch. Waits is signaling an awful lot. Ball delivered in to Shafiq Wilson very easily. Whatever the plan was, unfortunately, didn't work for Dayton, and Fort Wayne's going to try to break here. Brandon Osterholt does well to slow down Moriyasu. Here's Parafita. Dayton working very hard this first half, still pressing high. Putting Fort Wayne under pressure. Fort Wayne determined to play out of the back. And Dayton just pinning them back there a little bit. Wilson with some good vision out to Moriyasu, who's closed down quickly by Connor Osterholt. Here's Mihov. Shalbad in some space. He can get moving now. Ball over top to Parafita. It looks like he's going to get on the end of it. Ichikawa tracks him down well, as does Bailey. The shot. And it's going to be a foul against Dayton, putting Fort Wayne in a very similar situation that Dayton was just in.
And Caleb, and as we could see one more time, all the times that Fort Wayne FC was dangerous on this game, all the time that they arrived on the box of Dayton, it was using the fullbacks, it was using the spaces on the wide areas. So they got to do it more times. It's working for them. They just got to keep doing this.
Shalbad and Parafita are the two standing over the ball. I imagine it's going to be Shalbad. Shot into the wall. De Almeida lining up. Mihov closed down quickly by Klein. And that's the whistle here for the first half of play at Bishop Darcy Stadium. Dayton Dutch Lions doing very well to hold Fort Wayne to limited opportunities and 0 goals this first half. This match certainly a lot closer than the last time the two teams met. Fort Wayne FC up 4-0 at that match. But right now, they're struggling to make anything happen here at Bishop Darcy Stadium. Luca, would you say that any one of the teams was the better of the two in the first half?
I would say Dayton was the best team here on the field because their game playing was more effective than Fort Wayne FC. So, I think Fort Wayne FC has a better team, but they played 70-80% of what they can actually do, while Dayton played 100% what they can do. So I would say it was a better first half.
Fort Wayne FC versus Dayton Dutch Lions, and stay tuned during halftime. We should have some highlights for you, although both teams, most of them are going to be defensive highlights. But stay tuned for the halftime show sponsored by ProFed. And welcome back to the second half here at Bishop Darcy Stadium. We've got some highlights to show you from the first half. Alexander Mehoff, probably the most dangerous opportunity, or at least one of them for Fort Wayne. Shot from Mehoff deflecting off a Dayton player going out for a corner. Mehoff this first half trying to find opportunities but haven't been able to do so. The resulting corner kick, Pipolo does well to see it out for a corner. Another opportunity, Shalbad able to shake one defender, but not able to do two. Here's that shot again. Good footwork by Shalbad.
Yeah, as we are watching the first half highlights, we can see that all the times that Fort Wayne FC was efficient was using the wide area. So we could see Mehoff cutting inside and being dangerous. Now we can see entry attacking the space and finding Hovius almost scoring the first goal for Fort Wayne FC. We had another chance that Parafita was inside the box and crossed it back, had a back pass for Shabba. Shabba almost scored some fans here, even celebrated, thinking it was a goal. That showed how close he was to score. So I think that Fort Wayne FC insisted too much in play in the midfield to try to find these passes and these combinations in the middle. But like the times that they actually played wide and used the wide space, they were very dangerous. This was also a great ball from Thiago Diaz, showing what we can attest here, that he has the quality to do these long passes, putting Mehoff in a 1v1, and this is a chance Mehoff could never miss. Yeah. It's a chance to...
Mehoff needed to do better there to round the goalkeeper. Probably had a second. Here's Parafita.
This is the chance that I said, with Parafita going on the space, placing the ball to Chabot, and he was so close to score.
Yeah, like you mentioned, even some fans convinced. And it looked like there, Chabot, just his feet were a little wrong. Not necessarily set for that shot.
But yeah, a much more balanced first half than the numbers could foresee. But as we mentioned at the beginning, like, there's nothing that you can take granted in soccer or in sports in general. Like, it's a competition. You got to go there and compete for what you want. So Dayton is doing it perfectly. Like, they are in a 4-1-4-1, being very effective defensively and being very effective to deny every space for Fort Wayne FC. So I expect to have another half here with both teams competing a lot, with both teams fighting for the ball, and a good second half.
And Dayton, they had some opportunities of their own. A lot of their free kick opportunities they weren't able to make happen, but they made Shafiq Wilson move around a little bit at least in his goal box.
Yeah, number 27, Kikonda, was able to head some balls to cause some trouble to Fort Wayne FC defense. It's not easy. We know that Fort Wayne FC did not concede a single goal in the last 5 matches, like more than 480 minutes without conceding a goal. So it's not easy to score on Fort Wayne. But number 27, Kikonda, is trying to cause some troubles to the Fort Wayne FC defense.
So both teams out on the pitch here. Fort Wayne, they have one substitution here. And we can tell that it's Henry Kumwenda. Henry Kumwenda is in. And we're going to do some figuring out here who that substitute is.
Yeah, Kumwenda is on the game. And number 4, Kanyani, that had a yellow card, is off the game. So Fort Wayne changing a little the formation. Probably Sebastian Chabot coming to the midfield and Kanyani playing as a winger, as he always played for Fort Wayne FC, a player that assisted in the 4th goal in the last match, a player that's playing really well every time he steps on the field. So Coach Avery trying to have like this quick player on the wing and putting Chabot in the position that he's more comfortable with. I like the substitution.
So just like you said, Shalbad, Antwi, and De Almeida in the middle, and Kumwenda going out wide. And Fort Wayne's lineup actually mirroring Dayton's now. Looks like they're playing 4 across the back. Kinkonda able to get on the end of it. But the ball goes out for a goal kick. And a quick assessment of the Dayton players doesn't reveal any substitutes. And with the first half like Dayton has had, like you mentioned, Luca, no need to mix up the lineup when the plan is clearly working to slow Fort Wayne down.
Yeah, for sure, Caleb. Like, the halftime for Dayton could have only 10 seconds. The coach would just say, do the same. Like, more of the same for us, rest, and come back.
So no foul against Dayton there, and it's a throw-in for the Lions. And that ball goes out for a throw-in for Fort Wayne. Hovius and Klein battling it out. With the first touch from Klein, not able to find a Fort Wayne teammate. Mihov comes up with it. The Fort Wayne attackers, they want to play quickly, but the midfielders not able to connect with them. Just seems like more of a mental disconnect than a physical disconnect.
Yeah, we could see on the game 3, 4, 5 times already that Fort Wayne FC had the chance to counterattack, and they decided to keep the ball, to keep the possession, to build the play as they are doing right now. But sometimes when you are playing against a team that's so organized as Dayton is being today, like, maybe this is the moment to get the other team disorganized and take advantage of it.
Sulia trying to find the feet of Parafita, but not able to do so. Probably better served playing a long ball over the top and trying to find his feet there. But nonetheless, it's a throw for Fort Wayne. Hovius and Shalbad connecting. Out to Parafita. Diaz closed down quickly by Osterholt. And Mihas' first touch lets him down under the pressure of Connor Osterholt. Or excuse me, that's Bishop. And Fort Wayne restart play here. Antwi calling for the ball here, plays it out to Moriyasu instead. Finds the feet of Hovius. And De Almeida carelessly just slumps it forward. Both teams battling there in the midfield. Dayton letting Fort Wayne know that they're present and they're not giving them an inch of space. Here's Bishop. Connor Osterholt back to Bishop. Out to George Waits. Finds Saul Moran. Moran, good vision to find Brandon Osterholt. His first touch just lets him down a little bit. Gets stood up by Moriyasu, but here's his brother Connor into Kinkonda. Kinkonda, the left foot. And Shafiq Wilson gets a fingertip to it. And it's going to be a corner kick for Dayton. I'm not so sure that got a touch, but we're in a different angle here. Corner kick delivered in low. Rolls back out to Klein. Klein looking to play a switch in, not able to find anybody. Kinkonda and Diaz. It's been a good battle between Kinkonda and the Fort Wayne center backs all night.
Yeah, Kinkonda almost every play being surrounded by Fort Wayne FC defenders, but even with that, he's being able to cause some trouble, to take shots, to hold the ball, to place the ball to his teammates. So a good game so far from him. Even though playing between two great defenders, Zulia and Thiago Diaz, he's being able to get something.
Fort Wayne turned the ball over again. And in the opening 5 minutes of the first half here, it's much of the same play from Fort Wayne. Just not as clinical as they typically are. Klein plays the ball over top, trying to find Brandon Osterholt. Moriyasu forcing Wilson into a very dangerous position. And a mistake that could have been costly for the boys in blue. They're able to see them off nonetheless. Here's Hovius. Just has Pipolo. The chip. Pipolo does very well just to get a shoulder onto it. And it's a throw-in for Fort Wayne. Hovius with a defender on his back did everything he probably could. But not able to capitalize. Here's Mihov. Left foot. Aimlessly crossed in. You can sense a little bit of frustration from the team.
Another great moment for Pipolo, no? Another great save, and not only the save, but like the way he closed the space for Hovius. Hovius was in a 1v1, as you said, with the defender on the back, so things were not easy for him. And Pipolo was very smart to close the space for him, to be close to him, so he had no angle to shot. Tried to chip, I think was the right decision, but the execution was not the best.
And executions on those are definitely more difficult, so you could certainly understand how that shot didn't come off for Hovius. Fort Wayne on the attack again. Here's Patafita. Patafita playing in Kumwendo. Probably his first touch with the mask. Crossed in. Fort Wayne not able to capitalize. Dayton trying to come the other way quickly. Here's Antwi. Steps in front of Waits. And Pipolo pretty comfortably collects that shot.
And we can see Fort Wayne FC high press on the field working twice in a row for them in the second half already. Something that have been happening every match. They scored many goals this way. Pressing high, getting the ball, and scoring. And Hovius already got a 1v1 situation, and now Seth Antwi had a chance to shot from outside of the box, doing exactly the same thing that they've been doing the entire season. Pressing high, getting the ball, and attacking quickly.
Dayton on the attack now. Here's Osterholt. He's got Kinkonda trying to take it alone. Moriyasu does well to stand him up. And it's going to be a goal kick for Fort Wayne. And Moriyasu's on the turf here.
By the way, he's stretching probably cramps or something. He's not being a starter for Fort Wayne FC. He played, if I'm not wrong, in the first game of the season, and he's playing like about 30 minutes at each game. So it's different when you play as a starter, especially as a running back, as he's doing, going back and forth all the time. So it's a tough game for Moriyasu. He's doing really well so far, and we hope he is not going to suffer anything physically.
So Kumwenda does well to bring that ball down. Trying to change the point of attack. Here's Mihov. Kumwenda calling for that ball back, but Dayton doing well to close off the passing lane. Antwi plays in Mihov. Mihov battling it out and comes out to Hovius. Hovius cross in. Shalbad with the header! And it's a handball by Bailey from Dayton. And the Dayton player's not happy, but Fort Wayne going to have an opportunity here to pull ahead early on in the second half. Dayton players still protesting. And it's going to be the man who got on the end of the header, Shalbad, from the spot. No funny business from Shalbad. He puts it past Pipolo for the opening goal here at Bishop Darcy Stadium this evening. Fort Wayne FC 1, Dayton 0. The smoke and the bubbles flying from the Three Rivers Regiment. And could this be the crack in the dam to let the floods flow for Fort Wayne? Pipolo here, he guesses the right way, but Shalbad, just too much pace on it, and puts Fort Wayne up 1-0.
Perfectly taken by Shabal. There's not a better way to come back. He's coming back today for Fort Wayne FC, playing more in a position that he's more used to in the second half, play more as a 10. And with 10 minutes on the game, he completes his comeback with a goal. There's nothing better for a player than come back with a goal to give some morale, to show that he's back and to feel that he's back on this team. He that was a key player in the first games of the season, and he's back. It's going to be an important addition for Fort Wayne FC in the playoffs for sure.
So Dayton getting started again. Here's Waits. And Bishop closed down by Hovius, but he does well to retain possession. Here's Osterholt. Connor, that is. Out to Moran. Does well to find the feet of Kinkonda. And a foul against Antwi of Fort Wayne. Gives Dayton a set-piece opportunity. They like to play it quickly out to Brandon Osterholt. Moriyasu. Osterholt gets the best of him this time. It's going to be a corner kick. And Moriyasu's down again. Not quickly getting up. And Coach Avery motioning over to Captain Reed Sproat. And it looks like Moriyasu's night could be over. It's been a tough shift for Moriyasu. He's done well most of the evening. But like you mentioned, Luca, when you're typically the backup, playing only 30 minutes, putting in a shift like this, 60 hard-fought minutes. These were not easy minutes for Moriyasu. And you got a little bit of heat and humidity out there. Hopefully it's nothing more than a cramp. like you mentioned earlier.
Yeah, it's a position that requires a lot physically from the players, and we could see Moriyasu helping on the offensive side of the field, and also having to deal with Brandon Osterholt, that is probably the best player, if not the best player, because the number 27 Kikonda is having a great game, but like one of the most dangerous players for Dayton so far on this game. So he dealt really well with him. So a very intense game for him, and he's stepping out with cramps.
So the referee's waving on the substitute in Sproat. Sproat, one of the captains of this team, and has been a stalwart the entire time for Fort Wayne. He's now going to integrate himself quickly. Corner kick delivered in. Wilson and Hovius combined, able to clear that ball out. The ball delivered back in from Waits. Waits delivers in a good ball. I believe that was Moran who got on the end of it, but the ball goes over the top for a goal kick. And I'm just wondering if Sproat will stay on the right here, or if he'll eventually shift into the center, pushing perhaps Diaz out to the right side here. Sproat, we know, a good ball playing back, but not necessarily one who's known to play the wings. Kumwenda putting Dayton under pressure there. They do well to advance the ball forward. Here's Ichikawa trying to catch out Wilson. Wilson pretty confident that's going over the bar, and it does. Going out for a goal kick. And from the looks of things, Moriyasu's limping, but he came to the bench here under his own willpower, so that's good to see. Hopefully nothing too serious. Sproat doing well to stand up Osterholt. And a foul committed against Brandon Osterholt gives the ball back to Fort Wayne. Patafita trying to play the ball over top. Klein able to get the first header to it. Shalbad gets the second. Mihov comes down with it. He's got two Dayton defenders on him, and he's not able to quite round the corner. The ball rolls out of bounds for a goal kick. But it was a good play there, trying to find somebody in the middle.
This is something I'm missing on the game, to see Mihov more active on the game. We could see this guy playing 2 times for Fort Wayne FC, and he scored 2 goals in the first 2 matches. So like today he's playing like not having many touches on the ball as we got used to see in the first matches. So I would like to see more of him on this game. He's a guy that definitely have the quality to make an impact on the game, has a lot of talent on his left foot. So I would like to see more of him on this game.
And of course, Mihov scoring in the opening match for Fort Wayne FC, and his opening match, excuse me, which was another 4-0 win, I do believe. Dayton on the attack. Connor Osterholt, he's fouled by Antwi. And it's a very dangerous spot for Dayton to receive a set piece here. Antwi getting a talking to by the referee. I wouldn't be surprised if this is the last time he talks to Antwi, who's committed a number of fouls tonight.
Antwi's asking for a yellow card right here. He's begging for a yellow card.
And I can't remember if it was the Dayton match or not that Sean Karani got a second yellow, resulting in a red card for a very similar thing. Moran with the free kick. And Wilson collects comfortably. But we have seen refs give out yellow cards for those, especially after players have been instructed to back up. Diaz out to Sproat. Sproat trying to drive forward. Not able to do so. Misplaced pass from Shalbad. Gives the ball back to Dayton. Dayton knocking it around quickly. Here's Moran. Moran finding the feet of Ichikawa. Bancic on the ball. Here's Osterholt. Fort Wayne doing well to force Dayton backwards. And an offsides, not from Kinconda, but from an earlier 1-2 with Bencic. Ball over top. And Kumwenda called offsides. And we're going to have some substitutes here. Sebastian Shalbad looks like his night's almost over. And coming in for him as another one of the team captains, Alexander Frank. Shalbad going to try to make something happen here first. Hovius just outgunned by Bishop. And you can't see my face right now, but this was a little bit of a questionable call. Bishop, hard done there to receive a yellow card.
I don't think it was a fair call. Like, both players was pushing each other, like battling for the space. Like, it's a normal play. Like, it happens 1,000 times in each game. But like a foul, maybe, but a yellow card was too much.
Either way, it's going to be a free kick. Here's Mihov. Blistering shot delivered into the wall. Patafita, the shot again. And Diaz called offsides. And we can see that Nkosi Graham is going to be the second substitute for Fort Wayne. But we haven't received, I don't think we've received signal yet as to who's coming on and who's coming off. And the substitute for Nkosi Graham is going to be Alexander Mihov. Another player on who's got a lot of pace. A couple of his teammates use one word to describe Nkosi Graham: fast. That's pretty much all you need to know about Nkosi Graham. He's going to put that Dayton back line under some pressure there as long as he's able to get some deliveries over top to him. I've never seen a match where he slows down running. Here's Klein. Under some pressure, does well to turn, but Kumwenda with a good block. Here's Brandon Osterholt. Good foot in by Sproat. Connor Osterholt Does well to turn away from pressure. And Bishop needs to be careful. Just got a yellow card. And upset with that foul. He can't back talk the referee too much. First touch of the game for Franck. One of the other leaders for this Fort Wayne FC squad. Not on the same page there with Hovius. Dayton looking to break quickly. Here's Brandon Osterholt taking on Sproat. Couple step overs. Finds Ichikawa. Basulia does well to step in front of Waits. And Bailey misplaces that pass, and it's going to be a throw-in for Fort Wayne. Klein and Graham battling it out there. Graham able to retain possession. Kumwenda plays it forward to Antwi. Antwi is offside. And it looked like a tight call there. Antwi maybe one step ahead. Possession's going to go back to Dayton. And Luca, what did Dayton need to do in the final, we'll say 20 minutes here of this match to try to claw one back?
To be honest, I think they gotta keep doing what they are doing. Like, I think they are playing better on the game right now. They are being really dangerous when they can connect the pass to the number 21 on the left wing, Brandon Osterholt.
Well,
so I think they gotta keep doing the same thing, using the wide players and looking for a goal. Like, they are doing really well.
Ball bouncing around, falls to Kinkonda. Shot on the left foot. And Wilson, aware to the danger, able to fall down on it. Sulia playing the ball over to the top to Hovius. I'm curious how much more gas he's got left in the tank. Like you mentioned, probably one of the most aggressively attacking players this evening, Hovius is. Always trying to get on the end of the ball, always trying to drop back, try to receive it. Just trying to find the ball the best that he can. I wouldn't be surprised if here in a few minutes, Coach Avery adds some fresh legs and replaces him. Ball goes back to Sulia. Out to De Almeida. Parafita had been calling for that ball. Closed down quickly by Bailey, but able to get around him. Layoff, trying to find Hovius. He had a couple of players back post. Not sure that was the best opportunity for Parafita, but either way, a dangerous opportunity for Fort Wayne. They come up a little bit short.
And another play coming from a long ball, if I'm not wrong, from Thiago Diaz. These guys being spectacular for Fort Wayne FC, leading a defense that, as we said, had already 7 clean sheets on the season. It's more than 8 hours of play without conceding a goal. But Thiago Diaz can do for the team more than this. Like, he's always playing these long balls. He's so composed with the ball in his feet. Like, this guy's exceptional. One of my favorite players on this team for sure.
Fort Wayne not able to clear their lines. Bailey plays it out to Bencic. It's going to be a throw-in for Dayton. De Almeida goes down with a cramp. De Almeida We got a substitute for Dayton coming in here. It's number 19, Jasper Schenkel. We'll get you who he's going to be replacing here in just a second. So Will Benchett's night is done for Dayton. And in his place, number 19, Jasper Schenkel. So the referee's going to take this opportunity for a water break. And Tomas Casas, he's putting his jersey on. Perhaps in replace of De Almeida. That would be a like-for-like switch. With De Almeida just going down. And De Almeida is one of the players who has featured a lot for Fort Wayne FC so far this season, so Luca, it'd be important for Coach Avery to keep him as fresh as he can, as healthy as he can, as we start to just turn an eye towards playoffs.
Yeah, two players that usually are on the field, Tomas Casas and Tavio de Almeida. But it's going to be an important change, as you said, to keep his legs fresh for the playoffs, to have these players avoiding injuries or any physical problems to the most important part of the season that's coming for Fort Wayne FC.
And if you're a new fan of Fort Wayne FC, we mentioned earlier that they've already clinched a playoff spot. This is the first time in the club's 3-season history that they'll be going to the USL 2 playoffs. 32 teams out of 122 clubs across USL 2 will make the playoffs. And usually the playoff format for USL 2 is it starts out at your regional opponents, so somebody else within the Central Conference. And they got to play their way out of their region before they start playing opponents in different conferences. And probably the longest trip, and I don't know if they'll have to make it, but if FC Manitoba make it into the playoffs, there's a possibility Fort Wayne's going to Canada for one of their playoff matches. But things have to fall in line first. Jovius trying to get that ball to fall in line for Graham, not able to do so. Moran did well to deflect that pass. And Pipolo out quickly to Bailey. Here's Waits. Brandon Osterholt calling for the cross. Kumwenda attuned to the danger there. And the ball turned over. And turned over again. Back the way of Dayton. A good ball through. Bailey going to get on the end of it. He's got some space. Cross delivered in. Trying to find Ichikawa. Not able to do so. I believe that was Diaz in the way of that cross. And that's my microphone falling down. Excuse me. Here's the substitute. Schenkel blocked by Sulia. And Dayton trying to turn something on here. Here's Kinkonda. Sproat just plays it out for a throw-in. Connor Osterholt, he was lurking there in the middle. Dayton showing some dangerous notes here in the last few minutes. And a good block from Shafiq Wilson. Kinkonda able to get on the end of it, forcing Wilson to do something. The shot again. And Ichikawa puts it wide. And I'm not sure Wilson knew whether or not That was going wide until the last second, but he was aware. And Dayton not letting up the pressure. They've been pressing high and pressing hard for 80 minutes, it seems like. That high pressure has not let up, has it, Luca?
No, I wasn't expecting them to press for this long. It requires a lot physically to do that, but they are being able to do that. So like it's being effective for them. They have no indicator to change it, and if they can do it physically, why not keep it? It's being effective for them, and they are being so dangerous. We still have 10 minutes on the game. It's only 1-0, so the game is open.
So Jay Klein going to put it back into play for Dayton. Klein, the former Fort Wayne FC man, like we've talked about, he played in 2 matches for Fort Wayne in their opening season. In a squad that featured our own Luca Mata. And while we talked about it wasn't the best season for the team, it was certainly a good growing opportunity, putting the club in the right direction to grow year after year. And we still see some ties with that team from the first season, one of which in Reed Sproat. Antwi going to get on the end of this here. Plays it back to Kumwenda. Kumwenda does well to evade pressure. Here's Sproat. And a misplaced pass. A rarity from Sproat, but springs Dayton forward. Connor Osterholt just slowed down by Osterholt. That's a stupid yellow card for Alex Frank against the player that didn't even foul him. And Frenchie, he needs to be careful about his yellow card accumulation. I believe he's probably on 3, maybe 4 yellow cards.
And some of them just as unnecessary as this one. I remember the first week against Kings Hammer, when he scored the goal of the week, he also got a yellow card by the same reason, like he was trying to kick a guy back, but like this is not what the game is about.
The referee's gonna pull the set piece back here. Waits is going to get a second bite of the cherry here. They've got 2 players lurking backside, Dayton do, and Schenkel and Ichikawa. And that's where they went for the first time, that back post. Trying to find him the second time. Diaz does well to head the first ball away. Schenkel with the cross. And Sulia called for a handball. Unintentional, but an opportunity for Dayton nonetheless. We've got another substitute for Dayton coming in, Rowan Dingra, excuse me. We've got to wait for the board to be held up. See who he's coming in for. Kinkonda. Looks like he's lining up for a shot here. We got a couple of Dayton players in waiting. See what Kinkonda does. The shot over the wall and over the crossbar as well for a goal kick. And here's the substitute, Ichikawa, coming off. And Dingra coming on. Ichikawa, a good night for him. And we noted earlier that Casas was putting his shirt on. It looked like he was getting ready to go in as De Almeida had gone down, but it appears that substitute has not happened. So De Almeida is still in, battling out the final minutes here at Bishop Darcy Stadium. Here's Brandon Osterholt. He's not going to get around Sproat. Osterholt fouls Sproat here. And Shafiq's going to play it forward here. Moran does well to clear his lines, getting Dingra on the end of it. Just dragging Patafita out of place briefly, but he recovers well, forcing Dayton into a throw. Free kick opportunity for Dayton here. Not sure what the call was there, Luca. Luca gives me the universal signal of I don't know either. Ball delivered in. Header to Sproat. Falls to Dayton. Here's Moran. Connor Osterholt. And he's upset with himself. He's not able to put it on frame.
And as Casas is finally coming in the game after some minutes, but he's somebody that can help Fort Wayne FC do something that's going to be essential for them in these last minutes. We have like 3 more minutes plus the extra time, and they gotta keep the ball. Like Fort Wayne is just giving the ball to Dayton, and Dayton is pressing, getting falls, crossing the ball in the area. The ball is bouncing around in Fort Wayne FC area. So this is something that's very dangerous. So it's better for Fort Wayne FC to use Casas and the quality that he have to keep the ball. And this way they can kill time with the ball and not suffer anything in these last minutes.
So it's going to be Seth Antwi coming off, and Casas replacing him in the last couple of minutes. I have to imagine we've probably got about 3 or 4 minutes of added time here at the end of the match. And a tough night for Antwi. Dayton making it very difficult for all of the attack for Fort Wayne. And we've got a Dayton player who's wearing a different kit than everybody else. Looks like he's getting ready to come on. And Bishop is coming off. And whoever number 16 is for Dayton, who's wearing a different uniform, I have no clue. But that's who's in. Maybe the different kid is the magic piece here for Dayton. And I'm not sure what this conversation is. And Pibolo going to put it back into play. Kumwenda with the first header. Klein able to flick it forward. With good communication between Wilson and the Fort Wayne back line. Allows the ball to roll to him comfortably. Graham's header not able to fall to a teammate. Dayton's going to come the other way. Bailey able to find Brandon Osterholt. Osterholt and Kumwenda get bodied together, and Osterholt's touch just goes out for a goal kick, and we've got 5 minutes of added time. Coach Avery not happy about it. Having a few choice words with the fourth referee. I'm not going to repeat what I think he said, but I think he said a not so nice word for television to the fourth referee.
Probably complaining about the extra time. Every coach in the world that's winning a game is going to complain about the extra time. I'm pretty sure that Dayton coach is going to complain about it too, wanting some more minutes to play.
Here's Fort Wayne in the attack. Graham's going to get on the end of it. Cross in from Graham. Hovius. The shot and the goal! Heiss ices the match for Fort Wayne, putting the boys in blue up 2-0 here in the 92nd minute at Bishop Darcy Stadium. Dayton doing as well as they could to block off the first cross, but bobbling around to Hovius. We're going to see it here again. Casas able to put some pressure on the Dayton back line, and Hovius, like any good striker does, takes any small opportunity and puts it away, and very likely buries this match here at Bishop Darcy Stadium. It's been a long time coming for Hovius tonight, but he finally gets on the scoreboard.
Well deserved, well deserved. He was the man on the field that was looking for this chance to score the entire match. 90 minutes looking for this opportunity, running everywhere, looking for spaces, fighting with two defenders, and he finally got a chance, a 1v1 chance with the keeper, and this is a chance he's never going to miss. 6 goals in the season, Fort Wayne FC top scorer in the USL2, and one of the top scorers in the country. This guy is on fire.
Sproat continuing to do well here on the right side. Just snuffing out any danger here in the last minutes. And you got to give some credit to Nkosi Graham. The good ball over top from, I missed who played that ball, but Graham at least able to get on the end of it and use his speed, like we mentioned, in those wide spaces, Luca, to just spark that attack.
Yeah, for sure. Credits for Grant that used his speed, as you mentioned. He's one of the quickest guys on the team. Used his speed really well. And also credits to Thomas Casas that as soon as the team lost the ball, he pressed it high and created this chance to Heiss Hovius. He didn't even think. He didn't even think 1 second about press or not. It was just run for the ball, get the ball, and give the opportunity to Heiss Hovius to score the second goal and finish things here to get business done for Fort Wayne FC.
And you said that about 7 minutes ago when Casas came on. He's a player who can make something happen. And he sure helped make something happen for Fort Wayne here in the dying minutes. Here's Parafita. Able to bring the ball down well. Back heel to Casas. It's just him and Moran. Waits joins them. Back to Frank. Bobble off. And Kumwenda tries to play the cross into Graham. Not able to do so. Nice flick from Parafita. Playing another ball in. Not able to connect with a Fort Wayne FC teammate. And Dingra is fouled by Frank. And a yellow card for Casas for time wasting. Silly yellow card for Casas to pick up this late, but you can understand why the referee gave it. Pipolo lumps it forward, trying to find somebody in orange. The ball falls to Schenkel. Kinkonda trying to flick it on to Bailey. And that's going to do it here at Bishop Darcy Stadium. A hard-fought battle between both teams. But Fort Wayne FC comes up trumps here at Bishop Darcy Stadium, scoring 2 goals and continue to keep their shutout streak alive. I used to be a math teacher, but we've got to be at about 9.5 hours now that Fort Wayne FC have not conceded a goal. And Luca, give us some final thoughts of the match here.
Yeah, Caleb, just to have an idea on the form this team is having, Fort Wayne FC is 16-0 in the last 5 matches. So 2-0 against King's Hammer, 3-4-0 matches against Dayton Dutch Lions, Buffalo FC, and Cleveland Force, and now today 2-0 again against Dayton Dutch Lions. So like this team is on fire, and like it takes so much to score on Fort Wayne FC, and it takes so little for Fort Wayne FC to score a goal. So we could see today in the match, like that was not the perfect match for Fort Wayne FC. I'm sure that they have some things to change, to tweak a little, but still, like they found a way to win. And this is something that we can see in every champion team. So this is something that can give some hope for these Fort Wayne FC fans that like, even when they don't play their best, they can find a way to win, to not concede. And this is a team that promises a lot, that possibly is going far on this USL too.
And you mentioned championship team. Fort Wayne FC is now within 1 point of clinching the Valley Division Championship. And it could happen this Saturday against Toledo Villa. Toledo, probably one of the more dangerous teams in the Valley Division. They could be another team who clinches the second playoff spot in the Valley Division. But it's all going to come down to Fort Wayne versus Toledo on July 2nd, 5 p.m. here at Bishop Darcy Stadium. Let's go ahead and take a final look at some of the highlights here. Jovius with a good cross in, and Shalbad getting ahead on it, which resulted in the penalty. And Shalbad, he's going to coolly slot it away. Pipolo for Dayton, he guesses the correct way, but the pace is just too much. And this is the goal that unknowingly at the time was the nail in the coffin for Dayton. A dangerous opportunity for Dayton, but not able to do anything with it. So that's going to do it for us here at Bishop Darcy Stadium. Fort Wayne FC 2, Dayton Dutch Lions 0. Luca, my friend, a pleasure as always.
It's my pleasure.
And at least Luca will be here for the next match. If not, you'll be joined by some friends, don't worry. But make sure to join us next time. July 2nd, kickoff at 5 p.m. So long.